gonna go around. I did it a little bit, but I won't quite count that. I came in too high. Proper touch and go. There we go. I'll count that. Hello. I'm filming a video now about my Corsair that I had recently crashed. If you had seen in my video before, I flew in on 3S and with a jumper T light and lost signal. I was relatively close, sadly, and I lost signal, and I recovered the plane and managed to fix it. I've got a replacement on the way because I would like a perfect model of this. I love this model so much that I got two, believe it or not, with my own money. But I've got a replacement on the way because, like I said, I'd like this to be a perfect model. And because I have two now, I decided why not have my beat up one now be one I can practice landings. And with landings, I can learn a lot more about this plane. With my other plane, I'm going to keep it as a belly lander, so I'll be a little bit more aerobatic and all that stuff. Today, I'm flying on my Boxer with roughly 30 aileron expo and 40 elevator expo and only about 20 rudder expo. I've maxed out all my adjustments on my plane, so you will not be able to fly this exact way unless you have these adjustments, because if everything goes well, I'm going to be showing one or two landings pretty softly and a couple of flat spins with this plane. This plane can actually do flat spins, which I absolutely love considering its size. I have a two-bladed propeller on, and it does fly a little bit better when you're flying slower with the two-bladed propeller. And it's supposed to be a little bit more efficient, so I'm still testing it out currently. Sorry for my shuttle. Trying to get out of the way and show this beautiful plane. So if I wasn't clear about what I'm doing, I'm going to be taking off as well and landing in manual mode. I won't be flicking to the gyro at all unless something goes terribly wrong and I flick to the gyro, and I'll let y'all know. But I plan on taking off and landing with this model, like I said, in manual. You cannot do this with the 400 millimeters. You can actually take off better. I've taken off this plane already better than I've seen some 1 meter planes take off at local field from other people. So this plane is pretty sweet. It's very tough. It flies almost, you can almost compare it to a UMX, but I'd say it's much tougher. It's heavier too, but I mean, it is similar size and weight. I'm flying on 2-cell because I like the scale power more than 3S, and I already lost it once on 3S. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off and land in manual mode and talk about what I'm doing to keep the plane in the sky the way I am. Be right back when I get the camera on my head right now. Okay, I got the camera on my head, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off in manual mode. You need almost full right rudder pretty damn quickly. You're gonna use a little bit of right rudder to keep it straight on the taxi, but as soon as your tail goes up, you're almost gonna use full right rudder as well as the power. You're gonna want to throw it up instantly. You'll see what I mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and power it on.
Welcome to Edge TX.
Okay, got it powered on now. You can see there's no gyro. Should be noticeable when I'm taking off, hopefully, the way I fly. Okay, so like I said, you're gonna use a little bit of right rudder for the taxi, and then a lot, almost full right rudder as soon as you start to throttle up when you want to pull up. So Not too bad of a takeoff, I'd say, at all. I've seen 1 meter planes take off worse than that. No doubt. Flying with about 60% throttle. You have to use a ton of negative elevator, and you can't really fly that well inverted, especially with landing gear on 2S. I'm flying with a lot of power, just getting high up. Want to make sure it's trimmed and everything's good before I try to practice even landing. So I've learned a way to practice landing is getting comfortable with learning how to glide this plane. So I cut the power off right now, and right now I'm gliding and I'm slowly learning how much can I pull up and keep it level with no power, like right there. And you can see it slowed down real good right there, actually. So if you could do that when you're 3 feet off the ground, you get a nice landing. But you can also dead stick this plane, dead stick land this plane if you have enough altitude. I'll try to show right now. So right now I have dead stick. Oop, that was dead stick. Just nosed over. Probably didn't help that I ran into the grass. But, oh, I was gonna say, I thought it was fine. That was the only thing to check. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna take off again in manual mode. Let's see. Perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm gonna have 2 versions of this now, one for landing and one for landing with landing gear and one for belly landings. So let's try to show flat spin, get pretty high up, jam the sticks the way it should be. My propeller came off. No good. Good thing I practiced dead stick landings. Still recommend this plane. Be right back when I find the propeller or replace it. But first, let's see. Any damage? No. Oh my god. My propeller came off because the way I glued it. That must be... Maybe I don't recommend gluing them this time. I like to remove the nose cones to improve the weight, but this plane has too much power, especially once I knocked it into inverted flat spin. So you could see that was maybe one of the worst scenarios to enter, and I didn't even enter gyro mode actually for that. Inverted flat spin lost the propeller. You might not have your UMX P51 survive if that happens, especially if you don't know what to do on the sticks instantly. Wasn't perfect, but I mean, he would have lived. And propeller's fine. You see it's spinning straight. The only thing that happened was my propeller flew off because of the way I glued it. So I'm gonna go inside, get a propeller that's screwed on. I'll get the 3-bladed propeller actually, and I'll fly more and take off and land. So I'll be right back. Okay, take 2. Got my 3-bladed propeller out. Gonna take off and land in manual mode and see how she flies in fully manual mode. So first time trying it out with the 3-bladed propeller and landing gear on. I'm gonna see how she taxis. Use a lot of right rudder on takeoff for that. Gonna get a direct comparison of how it flew compared to the 2-bladed. So far, nothing very vastly different. Does a flat spin. No problem. Slows down, not too bad. Let me come in for another pass. The fastest touch and go. Let me try a proper touch and go actually. The 3-bladed propeller is definitely a little quicker. So the touch and go, I'll keep my speed up and then I'll lower the power while keeping the speed up with full manual mode touch and go. Not too bad. Inverted's no better than before with the 3-bladed. So you lower power lower than what you need to fly level, and then you keep speed up with altitude. And you hopefully keep more speed up and nose authority than that. But I do have this as a beater for a reason. For landings. So, no problem. This plane is pretty tough. Bug landed on me. This plane's pretty tough. So gonna go ahead and land it or take off again. There's almost not enough right rudder on takeoff, even when I have it maxed out the way I have it set up. So to fly this model, you really want to fly, especially with landing gear, with more than 50% throttle in my opinion. And you only lower the power when you're coming in for a temporary glide downwards. Like right now this is 50% power. And I'm gonna keep it level. And now I'm about 40% power right here. And you could get some nice slower passes like that. And this is with the landing gear, so you might be able to get some little bit slower passes without it. So lower the power and then just try to keep it level. And it slows down nice. So let's see if I can do one touch and go and one landing. I'll feel like I can redeem myself. It'd help if bugs weren't trying to suck the blood out of me right now currently. Okay, that's one landing. Let's see where the bugs are at. My goodness, I thought a bug tried to touch me when I said I'm gonna come for a landing. So, I'm gonna turn it around and take off. Taxis pretty nicely. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a touch and go now. A lot of right rudder, a lot of elevator on takeoff once you start to get off. So I'm gonna come in for a pass this way, and then I'm gonna do a touch and go the other way. Here's the touch and go. There we go. I had more about 30% power on there. That gave me enough prop wash to keep the nose from dipping down. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna go around. I did it a little bit, but I won't quite count that. I came in too high. Proper touch and go. There we go. I'll count that. Very sweet model. Highly recommend this. Very unfortunate. I had some clippings where you've seen some nose overs on takeoffs when I'm trying to show off flying this model or prove this model in manual mode. Because if you're really skilled, especially with a better landing zone and takeoff zone, you can definitely land this no problem. Take off and land. So I'm gonna go ahead and land. Fully land this time, not touch and go.